Hello my lovely, and welcome to another studio vlog with me, Cooler Shine, in West Dorset for Handmade Dorset. I hope you're well, and sit back, enjoy and relax for 10 minutes while I jibber jabber about nonsense really. Noggins going on over here. Who cares? Nobody, especially not you, right? Because you're just watching this to be entertained for 5 minutes. Well, I can't guarantee entertainment, but anyway, I just thought I'd say hello from my meditation room, because I often do videos obviously from the studio stroke office. I'm really trying to see it as a studio space, like a creative space, but because I've used it as my office for so long for my business, it's really hard to see it as that kind of play space. Anyway, that's by the by. In here, I have, on my little table here, I have some angel cards that I pick every day from, and like when I'm meditating. Just thought I'd let you know my little routine. So I try and come in here first thing, but it depends what kind of shifts my missus is on, because sometimes we like having a cup of tea together in the morning. And then I pick a card from Louise Hay's set, and they're nearly always on point. And although if I've got a reading to do that day, I don't know if it's because I'm a bit sloppy with my boundaries and stuff like that, because oftentimes I think I'm picking a card for myself, but then they turn out to be perfect for the read later on. So I think I've already connected with the person and I'm ready to give the reading, you know, if I've got that lined up for the day. So that kind of comes in with that. I'm getting better at knowing that and kind of sensing into that. But yeah, so this is the space where the readings are done. I've got like a little bell and some candles here and a Buddha, and I light a candle and say a prayer, blah blah, and this wrap here is special to me, because when I did my ministerial training, it was something that I had by my side all the time. So it feels like it's imbued with really potent blessings, I suppose. You know, which really help when I'm setting the scene and getting in my zone, so that I can speak to the higher realms, basically. Anyway, I just thought I'd let you know this. Please give me a shout if you want me to kind of talk you through more about what that looks like and how it works for me, or how you might develop more spiritually or tap into your own internal and deeper resources. Well, internal and external deeper resources. So yeah, give me a shout. So I thought I'd start with some grounding information. Here's some dahlia bulbs that I've picked up that need kind of taking care of for winter. I've never done that before. I normally just leave them in the ground, but they're the last ones left, so I thought I'd better dig those ones up in case I have none left. I've cleared the veggie bed completely because the raspberries just completely took over, where I was a bit too poorly to kind of take care of it this year. I have some chives here that I can still harvest. And I did rescue the blueberries, which needs to go in its own pot with some ericaceous soil, which is probably why it didn't do so well. I've rescued the oregano, and there's a little bit of sage there, which I need to bundle so that I can burn, as well as for cooking, but I really need it. I use it for spiritual purposes. Oh, I'm not supposed to be in there. And then all of this needs sorting, but I didn't want to take the barrage down. Oh, look at this spider. Just yet, because sorry if you're a spider. Oh, can you see a butterfly? Oh gosh, it's all out of focus, sorry about that, because bees are still using it. And there's, oh hello beautiful, oh my gosh, oh it landed on me, sorry. I was trying to turn the camera out so you could see it. Thank you for that blessing. Oh, I feel really blessed by the butterfly. And the Verbena bonariensis, this one here, it's still flowering, so I want to, oh I've ruined, made another spider go bouncing. I wanted to kind of leave them for as long as I could, even though it's all really totally wild and I'm not happy with the way it looks at all, but I do need to sort that out at some point. And I think for in here, I've put various plants in here over time, but it hardly gets any rain because of this here. It used to be a log store, and it's really pretty looking log store, but we don't have an open fire, so there's absolutely no point to it. So we decided to make it into another plant bed, and put the wood panels there last year, maybe the year before. No, I think it was last year. But so it hardly gets any rain, but also sometimes it hardly gets any sun either. So it needs to be kind of a plant that's happy in the shade, but also that is happy for it to be dry. And normally plants that are in the shade have kind of a damp soil. So I need to have a little think of that. Obviously, geranium here has gone crazy. I really like only having plants that slugs don't like, which does mean that my flowered plants are really limited because obviously they love all the flowering things. So I tend to just have geraniums and penstemons, the borage, anything with a kind of hairy prickly leaf can cope without the slugs completely wrecking it. But if you've got any tips and different plants that I can pop in that do offer flowers, then I'm open to listening. Yeah, okay. Hello, my beauty. Should we pop into the office? So here's a few little wild paintings that I've started. I mean, I just needed to get some colour on the canvas. Sometimes my spiritual process and my kind of working through my energy and how I'm feeling, sometimes it's just really handy to lay paint onto a surface. It doesn't matter that it isn't actually anything, or it doesn't resemble anything, or it doesn't make sense, or it's not even a very pretty kind of abstract painting. The fact that the paint is on the surface and I'll use it maybe as a background. But having said that, I mean, I'm loving some of these textures and shapes in there. So I might not, they might stay as they are. I'm really going into the neons at the minute. Maybe that's because I'm an 80s girl, you know, as in that was when I was a teenager, it was the 80s. I can put that terps away now. I treated myself to some nice new, well, let me show you what it is. It's, hang on, it's tucked under here. It's from Jackson's. It's a glaze medium, and to use with my oil paints. So because I'm out here, obviously I can paint with oil and I haven't got to worry about the smell lingering and being in the house and being really awful, because nobody wants that. Here's some paintings that I've started. I don't know if I'm going to continue with them. Sometimes I get to this place and then I don't know how to continue on without a reference. Obviously these are just all from my mind, and like you can get so far with making up where the lights and shadows should fall, and then after that, you know, once it comes down to actually putting detail on, I find that a bit tricky. I like to have a reference really. So maybe I should sign up for some local life drawing classes so that I have some references. Yeah, and other arty bits, and then obviously it moves into Handmade Dorset over here, as you know. I have some bits and it looks a bit crazy, honestly. So obviously I've not tidied up after doing my last lot of orders, so I do need to get on that really. Give it a bit of a tidy up. I'll just tell you quickly, while I was ordering stuff from Jackson's, I actually was looking for some wood panels because I want to make some little icon paintings, you know, angel paintings with some halos kind of around them, you know, well, as icons are. And I wanted some board, and now I do have a saw that I could cut this wood with, but these were £5 for £5, and I was like, I can't even get a piece of timber for that. Timber is so expensive now, wood is so expensive now. So I got those, but of course then that's why I end up getting my glaze medium, and then by the time you've paid for postage it ended up costing 25 quid but instead of just a £5, and that's what happens, isn't it? But anyway, these have had 2 coats of gesso on them. Here's the gesso. It's an acrylic gesso primer. TJ makes her own gesso with her own recipe, and it's really good, and because she has huge great paintings, so you know she needs a lot, so it makes sense for her to make her own rather than try and buy that, because it is quite expensive. I can't remember how much. And so it's had 2 coats of gesso. I don't know if you can see the texture on there at all. So you coat it one way and then you coat it the other way when that's dry, so it gives it a kind of a grain, which is nice for painting on, because it's almost like then painting on a canvas. And so they're ready to go. They're ready for me to start laying out because these are going to be quite particular paintings. They're not going to be wild and woolly like these. These are going to be laid out and planned. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm a little bit daunted, but needless to say, I'll probably take you through the process. Hello, I'm indoors. I just thought I'd show you some of my wife's paintings. Aren't they marvellous? I can't tell you how excited I am. I thought I'd fully killed this plant, but it's grown 3 more leaves. How brilliant is that? This is my button tin. Isn't it gorgeous? So my crochet adventures are continuing. So far I've made a little dolly blanket for one of my grandkids, and I'm making a scarf. Yes, I am. Since giving up social media, I'm more and more aware of how glued we are to our phone screens, and how I see people all the time everywhere just picking up their phones out of habit, nonsensically, like mindlessly, just picking up their phones. They cannot tolerate for a moment being left alone with their thoughts. That's how it feels anyway, as an observer looking on. So anyway, I thought I'd make a little list of my top 4 things you can do instead of picking up your phone every time you're waiting for the kettle to boil, every time you're in the post office queue, every time you're at the supermarket, every time you're in the middle of the TV advert breaks, or, you know, on the toilet, wherever you I don't know. But these are my top 4. Okay, so number 1 is, I've made a little list, hang on, mindfulness and breathing. So just take the opportunity, spend a moment. I mean, I had my eyes closed then. I automatically go to close my eyes when I want to take a nice breath. But I know that's not always possible when you're outside somewhere in company, or, you know, out in the public zone. So just take a breath, breathing in through the crown, out through the heart space, or out through the soles of your feet. I'm breathing in love and all is well. I like to say a little mantra, a little affirmation. You can make up any affirmation you like. I'm abundant. I release that which does not serve me. You can say whatever you like. And in the spirit of that, you can spend the time as you're breathing, especially if you're outdoors and in nature. Find a tree, find a leaf, find a plant for your eye to gaze on, for your eye to settle on, and look at it. Just look at it. Nature has so much to show us if we just spend the time looking. Just take a moment, look at a leaf, watch a bird, you know, see how the domestic animals move in space. Even if you're in the living room, just watch your pet. Do you know what I mean? Or just look at your leaf on your plant and the miraculousness of it, you know, enjoy that for a minute. Just be in the zone with that for a minute. It's not going to hurt you not to have so much input all the time. You're not going to fall behind. You're not going to, you know, just being for a couple of minutes is absolutely, it's more than fine. It's blooming marvelous. So do that. Number 1, mindfulness, breathing, stillness. Okay. Taking the time, you deserve it. Number 2 is books. books of any sort. So it can be a reading book, a novel, a light quick read, it can be a poetry, it can be a play, it can be anything. It can be a puzzle book, and you could be doing sudokus or crosswords or any of those things if you feel like you want that mind stimulation. You'll be expanding your vocabulary, you'll be venturing into other people's lives, even if they are kind of fiction and make-believe, and they might not be. You might want to read about, I don't know, flags of the world or whatever. Just, you know, pick up a hard copy book and look at that. Number 3 along the lines of books is journaling and stroke doodling. So you have a book, you have a pencil. It can be easy as pie. It only has to be a little book like this, like one of these little notebook things I sell on the website, whatever. Just has to be a little diddly thing like that you can pop in your pocket. Pencil, pen, it hasn't got to be anything fancy, no glorious instruments, although you can obviously if you want to, but just doodle. You can write down your feelings, your thoughts. It can be a Christmas list, a birthday list, it can be a abundance list, it can be a in 5 years time my life will look like this list. It doesn't matter. You can just be writing, you can be practicing, you could be looking at that leaf as in number 1, and you can be drawing the leaf, you can be doodling anything, drawing a little cartoon cat. It doesn't matter, you know, expressing yourself in any way you like, having that little book there. It could be even like about appointments or dates or whatever, just an idea spot, an idea place, but to pick that up instead of picking up your phone. So number 4, the last one, is conversations. Actually striking up a conversation with somebody. So when you're waiting in the supermarket queue, the post office queue, at the bus stop, etc., walking past somebody down the street, not looking at your phone, you're looking ahead. There's someone coming, a little old lady like me, and you say, good morning, hello, isn't it a beautiful day? Or, you know, wow, the weather took a turn, didn't it? Or whatever, because in the UK, that's all we ever talk about with strangers. And it's all fine, right? But striking up a conversation with someone, making that human connection with another living, 3D, actually out in the world human being is so important. And we're losing that skill. We need to kind of practice it and get back on that track of making real life connections with real life human being people. I mean, that's not even starting on what it means for the other person, the gift your connection has given someone else, especially if they're a little old lady like me who's kind of lonely or might not have spoken to anybody all day or a week even, you know. Just a quick rundown: mindfulness, breathing, books, even puzzle books or whatever like that, you know, stories. 3, journals and doodling. And 4, having a natural conversation with somebody. Try it, let me know how you get on. Any more ideas, please write them in the comments, because let's start waking up from this mindless picking up the phone and scrolling. Because let's be under no illusions here, the people, the businesses, the corporations, the few companies that run the whole world, they throw so much money at these apps to ensure that we're addicted, and they've got our full attention. Because if we're paying attention to that, we're not paying attention to other things that actually are quite important. And we're also, while we're there, being sold to all the time, whilst being completely undermined accidentally by our peers and loved ones and things, by making us feel like our actual real lives aren't good enough. That's my 2 penneth for the day. So get to it, mateys, and let me know your ideas and solutions. How gorgeous are these writing sets? Because the trouble is, I don't actually want to write on them because they're too pretty. And my spider scrawl will look terrible. But anyway, they're there for the download. I've had so much thunder and lightning. It's bonkers. It's absolutely bonkers. The weather can't seem to decide what it's doing. Anyway, there you go. That's the vlog for this week, lovelies. Next week, I hope to do some making in the videos, a bit more making. And I might even start like vlogs where it's a bit more structured, so there'll be clear sections as to what it contains. But that's me and my studio for this week. Please let me know how you're doing, what you're up to. Ta-da! I got nothing else to say, nothing of any value anyway. Just know that I'm sending you love and joy. Okay, ciao.